This is how I made 5 different income sources that made me more than $10,000 every single month. I noticed a lot of other finance YouTubers that have 7, 10, or even 12 income streams that bring them so much money every single month, while I only had one, which was my job. I'll admit it, I was salty and envious. So I decided to find my own sources of income as well. Well, it took me 2 whole years of hard work in order to build these 5 income sources, so hopefully by the end of this video, you guys will be able to kickstart your journey in order to build your second or even your third income stream. So the first income stream will be high interest saving bonds. So primarily what I do is I invest in the Singapore Savings Bond. Basically, they are bonds that are issued by the government in order to provide Singaporeans with a safe and a flexible long-term kind of savings in that sense. Every time you invest in them, it usually takes about 10 years, or rather you can keep them in for about 10 years and it can generate interest for you over these next 10 years. How I found it was through other finance YouTubers. So basically, if you guys are watching this now, don't waste your time, go and sign up for it right now. This is how it works. You put in your money and you can keep it in for about 10 years maximally. So every single year they give you a certain amount of interest. I think this month in itself is about 3%, and as you put it in as well, the interest grows a little bit every single year. So maybe this year it'll be 3%, next year maybe it's 3.1%, then following by that 3.2, 3.3, and then it won't increase by so much, but at the end of the whole 10 years you will have an average return of maybe 3 to anywhere between 3.2 and 3.3%, which is pretty nice. One of the things that has also interests me is called the bond ladder. So basically, the Singapore Savings Bond pays you twice a year. So for example, let's say you start buying in January. You're going to buy January, February, March, April, May, June. So 6 months worth of investments, basically buying for 6 months straight, and each and every single bond will pay you twice a year, which means that with 6 times you'll be able to be paid 12 months in a whole year, which means that you will get consistent income every single month just by doing this bond ladder and buying it for 6 months straight. So how much I earn from this is I earn anywhere between $75 to $150 every single month. It's not a lot of money, but basically it's something that you can kind of pull out anytime. Whenever you want to withdraw the money, it comes in the next month, and it's relatively risk-free. So if you're interested in getting monthly income, this is the way you should go in terms of leveraging the high interest rates that are going on right now in the economy. But I guess if you guys are interested in monthly income, then my second income source is also perfect for you guys. My second income source would be dividends, primarily dividends from stocks. So early this year, I wanted to invest or start a portfolio that gives me consistent income every single month, and I can build that sort of portfolio towards my retirement in that sense. So in order to do that, I needed a dividend portfolio, so I decided to become a landlord. Yep, you heard that right, but no, I didn't buy a property because I don't have the money to buy the property and also to lease out and everything like that. There's way too much effort. I did the second best option. The second best option right here, which is to invest into REITs. REITs are basically real estate investment trust. Basically, the way it works is a lot of people put their money in and then they use all this money to go and buy some sort of property, and then they rent it out, and then when they get that rental income, they sort of distribute it back to all the people who have financed their rental property in that sense, which is pretty nice. So I don't have to do any of those things. I just need to buy the stock and I get that dividend at the end of the year in that sense. Basically, they take care of all the leasing or the rentals, and I just provide some cash, and then I get to keep a portion of the rental every single month, which is pretty nice to me, you know. The 2 REITs that I have invested in so far, first one would be the Ascender REITs, second would be CapitaLand Mall REITs. So how much I've invested, I've started for this entire year or so, I think about a year plus, I can't really remember very carefully, but basically I think I've put in about 30,000 or so in this whole year in that sense, and how much they are generating for me right now is about 4 to 5% per year. So throughout this entire year, I think I've gotten about $1,000+ throughout the whole year, so that earns me around $125 every single month. When I put the plan in for this portfolio in that sense, the main plan for it is not capital growth. If it grows, then that's great, I would love it, but if you really look at the stock charts of REITs, you really see that there's not a lot of movement. It's not like Tesla, Baba, or any of the US stocks. They don't move like crazy. They are relatively stable. They still have fluctuations up and down, but the fluctuations are very small compared to all the other, you know, tech companies and all those kind of things like that. So capital growth is definitely not the main point. The point would be to earn dividends every single month or every single year, and as long as they keep giving me stable dividends every single year, I'm going to keep them there. My strategy for this is that I will put a portion of my salary every single month to just dollar cost average into buying the stocks. I put around 2.8k every single month, so about 1.4k goes into Ascender REITs, the other 1.4k goes into CapitaLand Mall REITs, and I just kind of combine them all together at the end of the year. And you know, I've been doing that every single month, which means that I've invested about that 30,000 over this 1 year or so. Speaking of monthly income as well, the third one is going to be pretty good. This is something that I preach very often as well. It's something something that I do on my channel very actively, which is side hustles. So the side hustles that I have been doing, especially during the last 5 to 6 months, would be my G-Shock side hustle income. This is where I customize G-Shock watches every single month. In a nutshell, what I do is that I wait for sales like the 11/11 sales, the Black Friday sales, or the 12/12 sales. Basically, I wait for good sales where I can buy these watches at a very cheap price, and then I buy customized bands online as well from AliExpress, and then I customize the watches, and then I take pictures, put up listings, and I sell them on Carousel and Facebook Marketplace, which is pretty nice. I started this out around 4 to 5 months ago, and it just takes me a couple of hours a week right now to maintain it. And this is the magic question: how much do I earn from it? I earn anywhere between $300 to $500 every single month, which is pretty nice profit, right? I basically just have to buy the watches, buy the bands, and then lastly reply people or really arrange for delivery for all the customized watches to go out to the people who have bought them, which is pretty nice, you know? But basically you can choose any other side hustles that you want to do as well, but this is my side hustle that brings me about $300 to $500 every single month. This is really fun for me because I really like the watches that I'm selling. That's number one. So it doesn't feel so dreadful I'm having a second job and, you know, I'm dreading doing it all the time. I just, you know, kind of do it as a hobby, and it's pretty nice to have a hobby that earns some money and not have a hobby like this, you know, YouTube channel that really just drains me money in that sense. Secondly as well, it also produces content for my YouTube channel, which is kind of what you guys are really doing right now, is really this infinite content creation loop, which is pretty nice. I customize these short watches, I talk about it, I talk about the journey, talk about how much money I've earned, and then I put this content on YouTube, then YouTube earns me money, and then hopefully earns me money in the future. But basically this is the loop that I'm going for, which is pretty nice. I can produce a lot of videos like this that can potentially gain a lot of traction online as well. The fourth income source will be selling stock options. Selling stock options is honestly a very complicated concept that I'm going to try my best to explain it. So basically, by selling options on stocks that you want to buy or already own, that will allow you to earn consistent income in that sense. You can go online and really check it. There are a lot of YouTubers talking about it. There are a lot of Wikipedia pages and a lot of pages that are talking about it as well. So I'm not going to dive too deep into here, but it's a little bit more complicated. So this one earns me anywhere from $500 to $700 every single month. It's a bit more difficult to do because number one, you need to understand how options work and the risk that is involved as well. And number two, you need a much bigger amount of money in order to get started. So to give you a good idea, in order for me to earn around this $500 to $700 every single month, I need at least about $20,000 in order to do it, which is a bit difficult for beginners to get started, which is why I put it on as the point number 4 instead of an earlier point, because most people won't get to this point of the video. That also explains why I'm able to earn a bigger amount of money, but at the same time using a bigger amount of money as well. So you see my G-Shock side hustle, I don't need a lot of money in order to bootstrap it. But this one, in order to earn the $500 to $700, I need a large amount of money. So if you guys don't know how options work and how complicated these options are, then please don't touch it. This is just my personal thing that I have studied options before, I understand how they work, so I'm comfortable doing it. And I usually do it on Alibaba stock, which is crashing as of now, so it's difficult for me to earn money as well. But you know, once all these things kind of blows over, then I'll be able to go back to earning consistent income, which is pretty nice. Yeah, don't touch this unless you understand options. That's number one. Don't touch this unless you have started to save a good chunk of money that you want to use for investing as well. There are basically simpler methods that you can use to earn money. Don't go for this complicated method that uses so much money. This is my option. I'm just telling you guys what I do. You don't necessarily have to follow them, and you shouldn't follow them blindly. Yeah. Income source number 5, which is the last one and is also the biggest one, which is my work as a private physio in a private clinic in Singapore. I earn roughly around $10,000 a month. Yes, this is my biggest source of income, but it was because of this income source that I was able to build all the other income sources around it, which is why I always preach that without a stable, reliable source of income, it will be impossible to build the rest as well. If you notice all the other sources of income, you basically need money. You need a lot of time and research in order to find all these things as well, and to find things that you can invest in, but it's basically telling you how to invest your money. But you need money, right? So in order to have money, you need to have a stable and decent job. Content creation, if you are really, really good, you can really do that. But if not, most of us, we probably just have a stable or normal kind of job. So you really just need that stable job in order to earn that income for you to start saving and investing in that sense. So I really do encourage you guys to find a proper job that pays decently so that you can build this foundation in order to build all these other separate sources of income. In total, if you sum everything up, it goes to anywhere between $11,000 to $11.2 thousand in that sense. It sounds like a lot, and it is indeed a lot. I'm not saying it's a small amount of money. It is a lot of money, but it also took me a good 2 years to build all these things up. I do realize that it took me a relatively short amount of time in order to bootstrap it, but then you must know that it doesn't come overnight, so you should really start early. Just pick one of the things that I've mentioned, preferably one of the top 3 things, the first 3 points that I mentioned, and just go do it. If you enjoyed this video, then you'll probably enjoy this video that I made right here on how I made $100,000 in my 20s. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next few videos. Bye bye!